is today. That is the signature introduction to how these interviews on podcast usually runs. And you might always wonder why Hi, my name is today is working. People say it's working, so I'm going to stick to it. Mr. Kayode, I hope you don't have anything against Hi, my name is today.
No.
Not at all.
You say it's working. And it's about the people.
It's
really.
about the people.
Anything you are doing and people don't have any
thing against it, then you just go with it.
just to speak some Yoruba, anything you do and Aye is not involved. You are your own.
You're your own.
So if Aye say it's working,
then just keep going.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, welcome guys to another wonderful podcast with some very, very powerful person we have today on the seat. And it's been a wonderful time. I've been enjoying all our recordings, but today's one I can assure you is going to be a very, very interesting time. I've been privileged enough to meet with Mr. Kayode, and based on that privilege, I said it's important to have him on board to have a conversation. When I did meet with him, I just heard him speak, and the things he said was so empowering, so inspiring, so interesting. And I said, it's important to have him have a proper conversation and share his knowledge and insight with everyone. So I would like to introduce you all to Mr. Kayode Adebayo. He's a music executive. He's a business executive. He's into so many things. He's got a wide space and a wide spread of experience. He was even a former diplomat at a point in time too. So he's also traveled also. He has not only local but international exposure and experience, all put together. He's the founder of Ckrowd, and Ckrowd is a platform that is helping music individuals improve on ways they can monetize, learn new skills, and also create structure for them as a music practitioner. So it's a wonderful opportunity to introduce Mr. Kayode Adebayo to you. Welcome, sir. It's good to have you on board.
I don't think it's me you're introducing.
Oh,
The way you have said it, I was like, you must eventually bring this person out. As in they say, I should whine.
You should whine.
Yeah, so thank you. Appreciate being here on this platform, and I don't take it for granted at all. So thank you for having me. I've known you for quite a while, and I don't think there has been any time when we sat together to talk that it wasn't really a situation where it just went on and on and on. It's like, I think for me and you, it has always been like a symphony, right? A symphony, just like when you have a fantastic bassist and playing together with a fantastic pianist, and eventually somehow there is a divine conductor that is just kind of swinging the conductor stick, and everything just kind of goes well. Every time I leave you, I think I'm very enriched also, just to say that.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much.
And it's been interesting working and kind of dancing around some projects with you. So I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you on board. I mean, I've learned quite a lot from you. So, and I think that's why I think it's important that we create this content today and we make it available for people to also learn from. Because one thing is to have conversations with someone like you and not be able to spread that information out and have other people benefit from it. I think there's a lot for people to learn. And as we keep meeting people, we keep bringing them on board. So today we're going to be diving deep into the music industry. We're going to be looking at Nigeria, but then in an extension of that, we're looking at Africa as a continent. And as you always know, the way we do it in Venture Quest series is we're looking to identify what are the challenges holding back that space at this point in time. What are the opportunities that come from being able to solve those problems and resolve those challenges? And then what are the ventures that can be created for new people into that space? There's a lot of people that want to come into the music business. I mean, and there's a lot of people even in it that are still not really getting it right. And a lot of people in that space. So without any further ado, let's go straight into it. Let's start with the challenges. What are your thoughts? What are these challenges there that are really holding things back in that music industry?
Huge challenges. I think the first layer of challenges that I know is literacy, business literacy.
Business literacy.
I
need to write that down. So in case you see me typing, I'm just noting down the things that you're saying.
Please, guy, I think business literacy is the number one thing, because you know what, in the course of me trying to build solutions for that industry, I've had times when I had to really do how do I call it now, research.
Okay.
I do research, and in doing research you talk to people, you build solutions. Sometimes those solutions they work, sometimes they don't work, but you keep going and you keep getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
So business literacy is number one, which we say education, right?
Education.
So education, which we can put a bracket and say business literacy. I think.
So when you say business literacy, so what you're saying that is that many of these guys have this creative talent, right? They're good at their craft, but they just don't understand how the business of making it work for themselves. Is that where it is?
Yes and no.
Okay.
This is it, right? When I say business literacy, right? For anybody to be able to record any kind of success in whatever they do, the moment they get into an industry, they must have, to a large extent, they must have end-to-end understanding of the industry and how that industry works.
Okay.
Because every industry is different. Of course, it has basic enterprise foundations, but the way the operations, the mannerism, the culture, the human interactions, and a lot of the elements that support that industry is different from each other. For example, if you decide to go into manufacturing cement, there is a way cement manufacturing industry works and thrives, which is different from if you probably are in the maritime industry.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, definitely.
And somehow, in the larger ecosystem, you now see the cement industry eventually plugging into the maritime industry to be able to deliver and build a supply chain or a value chain. So it's different. I can assure you that 90% of the people operating in the music industry don't even know anything about the music industry.
Wow.
I can tell you that. As in,
that's
it's
a large
nearly,
number. That is a large number.
It's vibes.
Wow, it's vibes. I need to write that down.
As in, for them, it's vibes. I know how to sing. And it's not only the music industry, right? It's more like the larger creative industry. I'm a fashion designer, and that's just it. You create a space, you just put a machine there, and you start to do and you start to sew stuff. Beyond creating that stuff, beyond creating products, what else? You find out a lot of them get stopped. Because one person comes in, two people come in to come and buy your attire. You don't even know how to price it right. Add all those elements together that will say, okay, this is my cost. And this is the price I want to sell it so that I can leave a margin for myself, for the business to be sustainable. They don't know that. So in the music industry, it's just like that. Because the music industry is about, there's a lot of flair about the industry. The guy you see on TV, how the guy is all blinked up, how the guy is wearing the flashiest Dr. Martens and wearing a baggy trousers that covers it up, and you see him open his chest, and he has locks, and he communicates in a certain way, and you see flashy girls dancing around him.
And that, most of us will see that guy is extremely rich. I would see that.
Yeah. So that's what most people see. And it's attractive. And then you start to ask yourself some questions. Where is one share? And you kind of open your mouth, some lingua comes out. And I'm having self-service. Where studio did? Do you understand? And you go to the studio, you went there, you go, you kind of, bust some rhymes. Maybe not even you paying for the studio time, right? Somebody there maybe has some few time left on his recording time. You get in there, you bust, and people say, "Oh, Mo, you are good though." See where it locks you. You just had a representation of that industry that you saw on TV. You come in the studio, they say you are good. All of a sudden, what works in your head is that I can be like that guy.
But there is a process that is missed.
My brother, that whole process is long. Do you understand?
So what I'm hearing now is this. There's a process that really makes an artist a proper artist. And the system, one way or the other, has made it possible for people to miss that process.
Yeah.
But then what they miss in that process still ends up affecting them.
Is the process.
It's the
What they
process.
miss is the process.
Imagine.
So look, maybe because of my own depth of understanding of the industry, or maybe even enterprise,
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Music industry is not different from Dangote trying to manufacture cement and how it gets eventually to becoming part of a house that guy built in Banana, and eventually he can live in and just, or decide to sell the house off, or decide to live in it with his family. It's a process. There's an ideation process. There's eventually capturing the concept, eventually making the concept real, building a product out of it. Somehow there has to be some goals and objectives. There has to be a problem statement. There has to be a kind of solution. You know, it's like proper business. But because it is intangible, you can't see those things. It's something you feel. And then eventually the music ends up as in bytes. You understand? Nowadays it ends up in bytes, and that's bytes, you know. It ends up as a file, whether as an audio file or as a video file.
That's what it is nowadays.
And then what is it from there? So because everything is like invincible, it's hard to really understand that step by step process till you eventually become, let's not even go as far as saying the next Burna Boy. Let's say you become the next Bella Shmurda. It's a process. And when you look at it from a product perspective, right? If we say, for example, music industry in Nigeria is a supermarket, and they are placing all the products that you know on the shelf. You know where everybody will be on the shelf, right?
Yes, definitely.
Exactly.
I know where
You know everybody will be on the shelf,
I'll
right? Then imagine now that you are entering into that music store, all these artists or top guys that you know are on the shelf as products. You know, there needs to now be more like product, how do I call it now? More like customer service around that. Just like when you enter into maybe like a food court, you enter into a banner. There's somebody that is a customer service person. There's somebody that's managing the shelves. So when you go to some top level supermarkets, you find out that each shelf and each product has a manager that is managing that shelf to make sure that shelf is as organized, clean, and everything for when customers come in.
Again, so you're still reiterating the fact that structure and process.
There's no industry that needs structure more than the music industry. And unfortunately, right, a lot of people benefit from the chaos also. So a lot of people, you know, when you have something that's supposed to be properly organized that is not organized, right? But it has a lot of demand. It means that some people, in that gap of being unstructured, some people are the ones playing around that area. And that's where the real meat of the industry is. So that's why you get to always see that there are issues in the industry. Because if you are playing in an industry that everyone is not, let me give you an example. Music industry is like a blue collar industry, not a white collar. But unfortunately, it's an industry where, as blue collar as a lot of things are, you need the white collar guys to really give you the representation of an industry. Product to fulfillment, right? So it's a mixture. So you know, it's a whole chain it's a whole value chain. And if you don't operate with it on that level, so imagine now, let me give you an example. How many times do you really hear Shell as oil industry company? How many times do you hear that there are issues? It's hard because you know what? Nearly everybody that comes into that company are top level knowledge people. that know about the industry and that know about the service they provide for that industry. They are brought in to participate in different roles. Everybody pay their different roles. And it's like a machine that works and everything. Eventually you get the kind of value that you get. You get the oil is sold, moves it through banks. Banks eventually deliver it to their maybe country partners or business partners, and it repeats. The music industry is nearly opposite.
To that.
A lot of people don't have the knowledge. A lot of people are not experts. A lot of people are not clear.
I want to even, sorry to cut you short there. I want to ask, when an artist, somebody that sings in his house or sings a song that everyone likes or something like that, and then he makes his best friend who has never done anything become his manager.
So you can see. So it's just like carrying.
I still like struggle with that understanding.
Yeah, it's just like having an urban store, or maybe I'm trying to look at one very top level store. Maybe internationally, Carrefour, or you have which one is there again internationally? Tesco. Yeah. So imagine you having the most fantastic product, right? Nobody knows the product, but it's for that particular thing that it fulfills is one of the best, but nobody knows. And of course, he won't be giving the front shelf in a Tesco, right? He's giving a shelf. He has to earn his way, which will have to be through sales and all that. And that person is like that, put at the back shelf in the Tesco store, and he now goes to the road and now makes an open call. Hey, who is there? Who is there? You know what? I need somebody that can manage my shelf for me. And he now brings that. And somebody just says, I can. And he just bring that person in and just say, bros, you know this is my shelf.
Just go and deal with it. Take care of it.
And you
I mean, even looking at that from like you can blow it up in your mind. You now realize that there is a problem.
No training, nothing, no understanding of
the training is a big
no understand the retail business, no understanding of shelf management, no understanding of even the pricing, no understanding of what value the product holds, no understanding of why the product is even important in the market, which niche of the market does it serve, nothing.
So that means again, the market is going to be underserved in a particular way because the process is not there, the structure is not there, and even training is not even available. So
you have the music industry as the most is the most valuable, one of the most valuable industries that Nigeria has, that Africa has, the most export worthy that we have. But just like you said, it is underserved, undermanaged, and all that. Music industry or the creative industries are not different from telcos. They are not different from banks. They are not different from tech, the tech space, maybe fintech. They are not different from all those industries. But you know what? Because the industry has not organized itself well enough, it cannot produce the kind of value as international as it is. You can see what a Burna Boy's album can do to people.
Trust me.
That's one artist though.
That's just one.
You see how many arenas, music,
and it's. We're going to have to put a pin on that Burna Boy thing, and because again, it's amazing when you see a Nigerian artist or an African artist goes out of his own country, goes far away to a place where you would think that they don't listen to his music, and then you see him selling out
arenas
that even people in that country can't even pull off.
Exactly.
And then you see all these people come around. I mean, again, a lot of Africans are also moving out of the shores of Nigeria and shores of Africa. They're traveling around the world and they're becoming audience for all these things. But
they are busy people. So imagine for you to let them leave their jobs and invest their hard-earned money to want to come and enjoy the experience you are giving them.
And the kind of money these guys are making is a lot.
Or they are charging for tickets.
And they're coming back home to enjoy the money because you see them
buying Ferraris.
They're buying cars that white
people can buy. That even international artists can buy.
Those ones that have it overseas are mortgaged. Trust me, a lot of American artists get all these big cars.
Yeah.
Nigerian guys, the music
They
guys
buy
are buying
cash.
and they're bringing it back home.
Cash. As in
It
cash.
shows
You know
the
that it's my own.
size. That shows how heavy that space is.
Yeah. Music industry, right? An artist in the music industry. An artist is a factory. One artist is a factory. When you consider the volume of people that need to service that artist to be able to be on that stage where he's delivering that whole experience. And I can start to count it. The artist needs, number one, he needs an artist manager, he needs costumiers, he needs people around his beauty regimen, he needs people that manages his logistics, people that manage his artistic, aspects directed. For example, he has a band, he'll have a band manager, he's employing a whole band. He needs people that will design the stage that he wants to deliver, lights and sound, people that will be dancers, insurance companies, digital media companies, traditional media companies, guys that handle the cameras at the stadium to capture the content.
Just tell you, if you're to look at the number of people in each one of these companies that will be working in, they're all adding up to little less than, from what I'm seeing, like nearly 100, 200 people on one artist.
That's what one artist can deliver. I tell you, as in beyond, the only industry I know that maybe for one production delivers that level of value also is maybe the film industry.
Yeah, they also push it.
When eventually you look at the credits that roll out after the end of the film.
Crew, right?
Yes.
Wow,
but you know what? That guy will just deliver that song. You hear it, you feel a certain way. Then you want to go out there to go and experience it. It's very easy for you not to consider the ecosystem that services that artist. Yeah. It disappears. For film, you even most likely get on set, you see different things. But if so imagine that guy coming into that industry and does not even know that is his input. That is most likely what if he's successful, that is what he will become. And he just starts by putting the most uneducated people around it. Not educated as they didn't go to school.
Yeah, but not properly trained also.
Understanding.
Not industry trained kind of.
Not industry trained. They don't even know the industry. Talk less of knowing what to train for. And then becoming an expert in that thing.
I won't lie to you. What you said then, so there was this might be a bit of a digression, but a friend of mine works in a construction company that does one thing, but they need to do a lot of building. Now the company owner is not a builder, right? So instead of him getting a group of well-qualified builders, he's using the fact that because he's built his house before and he has built somebody's place before, all of a sudden now he wants to be the
builder
of
overall builder, head builder.
How you be?
Yeah. So that's
the quality of what's supposed to be delivered is diluted because him taking on board.
He doesn't even understand the basic physics, the basic material.
So wait, now let's say we got the structure right.
Yeah.
What kind of level of jobs are we looking at?
If we got the sector right, easily Nigeria will be most likely the biggest music industry in the world. Easily toe to toe with America. Easily. Because right now, UK is the second largest music industry in the world. That's UK, England. So US, UK. And when I say UK, I'm trying to even be sure that it's England. And not just the general, England. And then after that, I think it goes to France, some few countries in Europe before it starts to go to Asia. When I was in Asia, in China had a very big music industry also. But because it's not very international, people don't understand. But imagine a country that has 1.4 billion people.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even need any other
they don't need anybody. These guys are signing endorsements, Sprite, big endorsement, product. And you can imagine how many products China has, right? So they need all these, their artists and all that to kind of market, sell and all these things. So those guys are doing terrific without even needing the globe.
I'm sorry, something came to mind and I just felt like we would just quickly discuss about it. Is it possible that countries like the United States and America and the UK, they are successful in the place of music because they use technology to create the apps that actually drive the monetization, which brings the money. Because if you look at all the big music industries or the big music apps, they are all made from.
Yeah, it's part of it, but it's not even the real
It's not
thing.
okay.
The idea is that they just have a structured industry.
Okay.
South Africa is far more structured than Nigeria.
In music.
They are structured, there are royalties, things around publishing, royalties, and
they do better.
Monetizing the music talent is better because somehow they have some level of order.
Okay.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
You know, they were colonized for quite a long time,
Yeah.
and of course people saw that industry and developed it and all. It's more orderly than Nigeria. But Nigeria, when you look at the size of people that consume the music, and you look at the size of corporate participation in that space, you look at the sheer size of the Nigerian diaspora globally.
Oh, it's a lot.
You understand?
It's a lot.
It's intimidating to those guys. You understand? For example, there was a time, I think I was in Durban, maybe like a few months back in South Africa, and I was trying to ask that all this hype about Johannesburg, all this hype. What's the population of Johannesburg? I was very surprised when they said 6 million. I said, what? 6 million?
Imagine.
It means that we can take 7 Lagos
out of them.
Yeah, they need to be 7 times bigger to even be nearly Lagos at all. For you to understand Lagos alone, how important Lagos is and that size. And for a country that has 200 million people, of course, if you say economically, maybe only 40, 50 million are active. But now you have to look at the diaspora. How many Nigerians are out there in the diaspora? And the good thing about Nigeria is that when you look at them at the diaspora level, a lot of Nigerians, especially in the economies that they are domiciled, diaspora-wise, are top-level earners.
Yes. And even when they're not even top level, they are active working people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Top-level earners, they are like the professors, they are like the medical doctors, they are like the accountants, engineers, and all that. And you don't forget the fact that when you have a cluster of such level of people at that level of professionalism, because of the confidence you have in your earning capacity, right? You are not ashamed of your culture. So you flaunt it, right? People, you can wear your native, and you know how we are, right? You wear the native, you wear the red Igbo cap, and those things become some form of interest to your group of people. And they get into your car, you play your own music, you are not even playing Bon Jovi, you are not playing Sonny Bono, or you are not playing Drake. You are playing Zobu Zobu. You are playing Essence by Wizkid. And they are curious. What's this? What's this song? This song is a vibe. I like it. What's it? They Shazam it, they look at it, then they go back to their playlist. Before you know, they add it.
They added it to their playlist.
You've inducted that person into the Afrobeat vibe. Do you understand?
Trust me, I believe that most Africans and Nigerians that go out of, travel out all around the country, all around the world, they've been able to pull a lot of people into this African music.
Because of who they are. We Nigerians especially, we are very brash. We are very all in your face. We are not ashamed at all. Maybe because of all the things that we have suffered. You understand? We don't even think that anything can happen again. It can only be vibes from there on. And because of that, people are attracted to that energy, right? And because they are attracted to, for example, if I'm to kind of do a bit of recap of how songs like Davido's If I Tell You Say I Love You, and then Money Fall on You. Those songs were popularized by the Nigerian communities in the different areas of the US. For example, those guys get to club. Nigerian now. We don't just come and carry glass and be moving around club. We take the bottles.
They must know we are around.
And sparkle. The sparklers must come through. You understand? So, because of the level of spending patterns that those guys have in those clubs, they became influential enough where they could determine the playlist of the club. So they get into the club, they know they are going to pop 10 bottles here today.
Whatever is
they close down the whole VIP and they just tell the DJ said, don't collect one. You understand? You don't collect one Moe or collect one Hennessy. Say DJ, today we are up in the club. Give us Davido, give us this. By the time they start to play Davido, you see those guys, and you know where the VIP is. That's where the chicks come through. You understand? So chicks come through. These songs are being played. There is a kind of reaction from these guys that are the ones spending. And somehow it's infectious. These guys catching and get cutting. And then you start to see these guys on tables. So
that is the power of spread.
That's the power of spread. That's the power of genuine love for your thing. Which it's most of the time, just being African alone can make you docile in those places. People just feel a bit, but let me not, who are we now? Nigerians are the only guys that probably don't feel that way anywhere.
They don't.
They are like, oh boy.
Everywhere.
They want to name, Nigerians are the only culture that I think I've seen, aside from the Asians, that they take their culture with them everywhere. When they want to name a baby, you as a Chinese friend, you as a Lebanese friend, you as a Dominican Republic friend, you as that guy from Turkey, you will come and attend a proper naming ceremony where there will be Ekpo, Iyo, that they will be putting on the baby's tongue.
And you might not understand what they are doing,
but you feel it because the way we carry ourselves, everybody will first wear Ashwebi first.
So essentially, what you're saying is that everywhere we go as Africans, we take our music.
Everywhere we go as Nigerians,
we take our music,
our culture,
and our music is part of that. And that helps the spread.
So we already have a nearly global distribution system already
exists.
That exists. It's so amazing that even the diaspora don't think anything is cool until they see how the local Nigerians are reacting to it.
Okay, then let's go into another challenge you've noticed or identified within the music
so
industry.
we've talked about education. The other one is monetization and opportunities. So Afrobeats, or let me say music industry, right? Because it's unfair to say Afrobeats. The music industry over the years, I want to tell everybody too that what we're experiencing now for our music is not new. This is just like another second cycle that has come again. Because Sunny Ade has been nominated for Grammy twice with Synchro System, I think in 1987 or thereabout. He was nominated for World Best Music and World Best Traditional Performance or something for it. Sunny Ade has shut down, and Sunny Ade has been heavy on Coachella. You understand?
Those years,
Coachella, right? Japan, all those top level music festivals.
Baba went to Japan also.
All those top level. In those days, it was even better now. This one would just be singing, dancing, pouncing around the stage. In those days, when they were Fellas and the Sonia days, there were times within their performance where they will stop and start to educate the audience.
Really?
Yeah, start to tell them things, and everybody it would be like a class. Everybody on the 50,000, 20,000 people will wait, listen, and then they've passed their information, then they will continue the music again. So imagine Fela, imagine Sunny Ade, imagine Sonny Okosun, imagine Tina Ondiwe, imagine what's this girl's name now? Onyeka Onwenu. Imagine all these people. Imagine all the Osundi Owendi. Imagine what's the name of this guy now? Victor Waifo. All those guys have done amazing stuff internationally. Because you know what? Then the music industry in Nigeria was far more structured because all the top big players were on ground. And these were Premier Music, these were Decca Music, these were all this top level. Majek Fashek was signed to Interscope.
Really?
Interscope is where Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre was signed to.
Majek Fashek was
Majek Fashek was already far back as 1980s playing on David Letterman night show. You can imagine, and we had a lot of Africans. They had Victor, this guy, And going outside Nigeria now, you had people like Mutukuzi, you had Salif Keita, you had Pabama, you had what's this guy's name now? Hugh Masekela, you had Lady Smith, Black Mambazo.
But there was structure there that time for
there was structure. So, but it was when the military came and a lot of whole economic situation and just level of craziness that the military brought that started taking those guys out. Maybe first as a protest that military was on ground, then later maybe due to economic situations and all of those guys started leaving. So when they left, that was when the industry went into a kind of darkness and we started to imbibe and take Dizike Falola.
I don't know that.
You don't know Dizike? Sorry, I'm too old. So they started bringing.
What was it? Was it a singer or a?
Dizike. Hey, Dizike was. Dizike then was what? Can I say this? Dizike's flair then was like what Whiskey is now.
Oh, really?
Dizike was that. That time was Jerry Cole.
Yeah,
Jerry Cole, his hair.
Yeah.
He was the one that did this song now. Baby Kilode.
Yeah.
Long, shiny suits.
What those? The best I think I can have of those songs or those ads when I was
they were in London era. They were that whole Nigeria, London thing where they sing in English, but you'll be seeing things of Yoruba language in it. Then all those Melinda, Melinda, all those
I know that
era.
Yeah.
So structure will give input, measured input and output, especially in monetization. Structure will give opportunities.
So again, we're going to hold that monetization again.
Yeah.
I think we need to trash that properly.
Yeah.
If there was two things that could be done to improve the monetization structure in Nigeria and in some other African countries, what would those two things be?
I think the first thing will be to find a way to globalize what we have.
Globalization.
Because that means the market becomes bigger, right? Yeah. When the market is bigger, then...
globalization already exists
No, it doesn't exist in that way.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it doesn't exist. What we have is a situation where we are users.
Okay.
We are users of things that have already been created.
Okay.
So we are just like in a bus.
Okay.
That we can be told to come down anytime.
Okay, yeah.
Just like what's the lady's name? The lady that fought for Rosa Parks, right?
Yeah.
So we are like that.
Yeah.
Where they can come back to the end of the bus and come and harass us and say, stand up.
Can you please stand up? Please?
So imagine now all our everything, all our content are on even for visibility are all on foreign platforms.
Yes, that's I get you now.
You understand? We're all on foreign platforms.
So your idea would be have a localized control of our songs that is globalized.
Have localized control of our content. Have local control of our data.
Yeah.
Have local control of the analytics that come from those data, and have local. To a large extent, have local infrastructure, maybe that will deliver the whole, within that value chain that delivers the whole performance aspect of stuff.
And then we can partner globally.
Yeah, then we can now partner globally. We partner globally in order to kind of spread the music out. But the infrastructure that we have built from technology to real physical brick and mortar infrastructures and all that now allows the home market. The market at home to be part of that big pie
that makes more sense.
We have baked.
Make it at home, make it stronger at home, and then allow for global partnership. But let that local homemade thing be strong enough to keep itself going. Yeah,
leverage. Enjoy leverage. Because right now, why is Burna Boy going all around Europe and all those kind of things? So I personally know that it can be very, very tasking for him. The only thing that maybe like a Burna has done is that maybe he has built a whole kind of social structure around himself that his family. So it's like his family is traveling.
They take
good care of him. So it's like his family is traveling. But imagine if he was just a typical artist situation.
Yeah.
And if you notice now, because of the nature of how we are Africans as Nigerians,
Yeah.
family is very intricate
Yeah.
in how we even want to do business.
Yes.
So you can see people like Davido,
Yeah.
family,
Still takes his family.
Davido, Burna Boy, his
Yeah.
family, Wizkid, his wife.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very close. Yeah.
They are all inculcated into
Yeah.
their business.
Yeah.
Unlike a Western guy,
Yeah.
that to a very large extent,
He's on his own.
a U2, for
Yeah.
example, as a band, will have everybody servicing him as total strangers
Yeah.
that are just business people.
Yeah.
So, if we had our own infrastructure, the arenas, the music distribution structure, either physical or either technology, the area of sharing the experiences,
Yes.
and good logistics support, maybe from the travel industry that allows people to go in and out very easily. Then matters around products and services built around the industry are all well educated, top notch service providers, everything. I believe that to a very large extent, those guys will rather do their performances at home and let foreigners come into the country to come and enjoy their performances and the experience that they want to share with them locally.
That could
than
boost.
going
Yeah,
the other
I've never even thought of it like that. Or that, if that we could boost tourism.
Yeah, it's part of it.
If the
Do
infrastructure.
you know how much
music-
Coachella pulls into the California states
Yeah.
just because
People all
Coachella
around.
is going to happen for 2 weekends and all the top level artists are coming through, and eventually, do you know the kind of commercial activities that need to happen there? The hotel business will pick up, the restaurant business will
I've
pick
never thought
up,
of it like that.
the transportation business will pick up, the data and the telecommunications will pick up.
Local businesses will drive local
I'm
businesses.
telling you,
up.
when you look at Taylor Swift, for example, Taylor Swift is having a fantastic 12-month run that has never been experienced or ever been delivered like that before. Ever. Maybe people that can deliver that, maybe not even in the volume, is maybe even in just remembrance is Michael Jackson. Taylor Swift, for the past 12 months, have become a billionaire from music services, from delivering music alone. I doubt if anybody has been able to reach that kind of mark. There were times when, for example, Taylor Swift visited a particular stadium. I can't remember which state. It was a stadium that was used by an NFL team. That town and that particular stadium, from what I heard, generated $330 million.
Wow.
Just because of Taylor Swift's presence.
Presence.
So you can see what that is.
Different businesses.
Taylor Swift has become an economic impact individual that is being recorded in economic impact books and studies now because of her commercial power in the US.
Wow. So,
Because everywhere she was touring, she was taking her people were coming through that were her own people. And this way, and Taylor Swift has people.
So you're saying now that if we had a Burna Boy like tour, get to a level and structure in place that he brings everyone that loves him all around the world back home to enjoy it.
Is the biggest waste that Nigeria as a country is experiencing right now. You know my work now. Yesterday, or day before yesterday, I was having a meeting with my international network. People from Latin America, people from North America, people from South Africa, Zimbabwe, everybody. We were in the meeting together. We're like 24 top level music industry professionals, people that own concerts, people that own music festivals, people that own booking agents, booking companies for artists. We're heavy guys, right? And we're discussing that where are we going this year for our Congress? And the people, one guy, I kept quiet. One guy said, and they listed parameters that must be in place for you to be able to come through, to be the person that will host everybody. And this is people coming from all over the world to be in that meeting. A guy just said, one of our guys from Zimbabwe, just said, guys, I'm not sure whether you guys will be willing to come to Zimbabwe because I'll be glad to host you guys so that you guys can land on, some of our meetings, and eventually we can do our congress and all that. And somehow I think I might be pulling some funds from so grant that will be able to support the whole arrangement and all that. And then we'll say, yeah. That's fantastic. Okay. And somebody, the convener of the meeting said, but Kayode, are you really looking at, are you looking at hosting this? Somebody has offered, Zimbabwe has offered that.
And is asking, is Nigeria going to want to take that?
And now I was held to the corner because they've been pushing it for a while.
Okay.
So I was now held to a corner when I said, oh, okay, we are working at some things. We are putting some things together. I think it's something that maybe if it's September, we might be looking at maybe being able to bring you guys in and then have who you guys hosted here. So it now felt as if the Zimbabwe guy did not even see anything.
Imagine.
Everybody gravitated towards the Nigeria because do you know how many people want to come to Nigeria?
Just to see what we have.
See, the water these guys are drinking in that country, it must be different. The air must be different because the way the things they are producing,
so the appeal,
culturally,
so the appeal is heavy from outside.
It's, my brother, it's like, I don't know how to explain this. It's like you being able to have a university, but all you can provide for is a lesson. You know those lesson classes, 30 people.
Yeah.
And a whole university that can deliver 10,000 to 40,000 people.
Is just lesson instead.
And all you are doing is just fapping around.
Okay, I'm going to go into this because I know that time is also of essence. I want us to start talking about low-hanging fruit. What are those things that people can start playing into? On both sides now. Yeah. The talent side.
Yeah.
And then the people behind
the scene, the business side of
because all the talent usually is just one. People behind the scenes like 100 or 200 different businesses, companies, and organizations that can be set up to support this one talented guy.
Yeah.
So, what are the places that you think people that really want to come into this music industry to start looking at either as opportunities to start something for themselves that you think, if done now, in the next 5 years, will translate into a certain level of growth in the direction of how much talent that is?
Well, there are two sides to this, right? There's an aspect of what individuals can do to give themselves better chances.
Okay.
Then the second one is more of like what the market can do to start to probably finesse what the goodness is right now.
Okay.
So I'm not sure which to speak of first, but the low-hanging fruits is number one, capacity building.
Okay.
Capacity building must happen at some level of large size. But the reality of it is that it doesn't have to be very large because we all know how the Pareto principles work.
Yes.
Where 20% will deliver 80%, right? So let's say, for example, there's a situation now where real passionate people, people that love the industry, not for the flair, but just for the fact that this is just business, this is enterprise, this can change a lot of people's lives.
Yes.
Those people need to be trained. Trained in the sense where they have a full sense and understanding of how not only the local music business, but how the global music business works. Where they can be open to idea of how the industry even intertwines into other bigger industries. Because at that level, what it does is that it gives you a bird's eye view of what the whole industry is. And then you can start to play your own matrix. Which do I tie together here and here to be able to, okay, for example, I coach a particular music artist in the UK, because I run a business, I kind of like I'm positioned as a business coach, right? For music industry professionals. So this my client, when I met him the first time and I listened to his music, I was like, wow. I knew that this guy is not the most fantastic songwriter in the world. He might not be the most fantastic songwriter, but somehow there's just something about him that can be real, that can connect. He has a very deep sense of his roots. He has a very deep sense he's not ashamed to project how that route mixes with more cosmopolitan delivery of his music. He has a message, a real message. He wants to use his music to connect the diaspora back to Africa. And he has a story that, if well told, can really make. So I said, I'll work with this guy. Okay. And I started working with him, right? I coached this guy into starting a merch line. I coached him into building and developing production skills, plugging into a proper ecosystem of music creators that they can work together. Yeah. And eventually I coached him. By the time all those things were properly set, it was like building blocks. The moment the building blocks were set, I said, now we can go into financing. That financing, I knew that there was no way the guy would have a chance at the normal traditional financing. Which is, I make music, I put music out, everybody likes the music, a record label comes through, signs me. And most of the time, it's not a good place of leverage. Because they are coming with their whole money, you haven't done too much enough to be able to warrant them investing. So when they are investing, they want to take your head and your family, your grandmother, everything. So I say, guy, if you structure it well, you can do these things by yourself, where you can build so much leverage that when they are coming, it's on your terms. Say, how? I say, you know what? This is your music. You now have some level of experience in community service around sports. So now we have sports, we have music, community service. Let's pair this thing together and let us approach a grant, a community development grant. When you get that grant, the idea is to project it this way. Then when you get that grant, your music now becomes the soundtrack to your implementation process. Do you understand? If you get that grant, you get enough grant that can allow you release music. You get enough grant that allows you to drive your own activation. You can have your own concerts. You can have your own music festival where you are inviting friends. You can have your own studio recording structure. You can have a situation where you develop the community by bringing up and coming producers and artists and say, I want to give these guys a chance to stay away from criminal tendencies on the streets by giving them opportunities around the music space. So when you sell that to an average Oyinbo person, say, okay, I can provide funding for this. But when they give you that fund down, part of what you are putting down is that I want to release music. I want to release my music video. I'll be going to Morocco to shoot this arrangement. I'll be delivering these 2-3 events. I'll be delivering this training. So they've given you grants to run what a record label will have run for you. You get a PR team, you get everything.
So in essence, what you're saying now is that low-hanging fruit wise, start taking what it is you have.
Build something from it that is sellable to somebody that wants to talk or do something in the direction that you are familiar with.
So you take what it is you can do, tie it into something
that's already there, that needs to be expended. For example, a CSR fund. Yeah.
They want to support somebody
community.
So you have to tie your own, whatever it is you can do, into their own story. And then get that funding to at least kickstart whatever it is you are doing. Delivering the corporate social responsibility, but also
building a kind of activation for your own business.
So that's one way.
That's like more like an enterprise structure to this. And the model is very simple. Get non-profit funding to enter into a social enterprise structure. You deliver that social enterprise structure, and in front, you eventually deliver non-profit. Because, for example, those are your events that you are imagine you creating merch.
Yes.
And you are creating merches, t-shirts, face caps, everything that talks about that community service, but writing under it, powered by you. Yeah. And everybody is buying at $20, £20, and all those kind of stuff. And you're able to sell, maybe that day you sell 100 of it. How much did you print it?
That's a really cool strategy, to actually push.
So there needs to be some more creativity. You know, we are startups guys now. So you understand how you have to be creative to get startup money. You have to now start to apply that into music. If you don't know how to do that, get people that can do that to be on your team.
explain to you the modalities on how you can go about it.
Yeah.
But raise that initial form of capital.
Yeah, you must first be anything in life, must first be out of pocket,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you cannot be out of pocket for what you do, maybe the first 300,000 naira, then you are not serious.
Yeah.
If you can't get 300,000 in cash, you should be able to get 300,000 in goodwill from people that will donate it and say, okay, kind of thing. Then after that, make sure you are very, very, very documented. And between you and I, when you look at it to and fro, how do you do all this without really having some form of education?
Yeah, you need that.
And without having some form of, maybe, even if you don't have it, you must be willing to be subservient to someone that has it, that can deliver it to you within your team. And you must be ready to appreciate that person accordingly. Especially when that person buys into your idea and decides to want to go on that journey with you.
Totally get.
When I was explaining that to the PR person that was supposed to work with this, my guy, we're trying to kind of onboard a PR. But at the end of the day, everything's about selling a story, right?
Yes.
Money is not really the biggest deal. Again, selling a story.
Can I pin that also as the second low-hanging fruit thing?
Yeah.
That being able to sell your story is extremely very important.
Have a story. You must look. It's like business, right? Yeah. Imagine me coming now and telling you that, oh boy, I want to start a business. You say, what business? And I say, everybody, man. Everybody.
Everyone wears a cloth. So
you know what you will do? The best you can do for me, depending on how far gone I am in my own stupidity, you might take some time to want to educate me small. Wait, Ross, no start like that. Why you no first make me sell this thing to the people waiting for that shop? You know, those guys where they move around that shop for far more. Maybe we first sell them to those first 10. If we see them buy them, we don't know see it's our clothes. Like I say, the area boys like then maybe we go look for slogan. We go appeal to area boy, no grief for anybody.
Niche based.
Start from that niche and you start to build up. But if you don't have that niche, if you don't have that situation where there's no reason you're even in the music. Why am I in the music industry? Just like everybody. Why are you building that business? Why am I in the music industry? You must know the people, just like Paul and Peter. Paul knew that he was sent to the Gentiles. Peter knew he was sent to the Jews. And they never clashed. Even a few times when they needed to clash, they quickly reorganized themselves because they knew exactly who they were sent to. Those people have a unique mannerism. Those people that you are sent to. All you have to do is look at their mannerism, look at everything. When we were talking to this PR guy, when we sold this story to him, that is where we are entering the industry from. That guy sat up immediately and said, guys, I'd like to work with you guys. He hasn't even had money. I like your ideas. I like how you have structured this already. He said, so how do we want to do this next year? What will be the building? What would he nosedive into? I said, first, all our PR, we want to talk to the C-suite people, the chief executive officers, the top people of that council. Those are the first people we want to first bring into this our PR. Because those people are the people that will give us the next funding. When we have eventually delivered this project at the end of this year, at this end of the year, we want to make people know that this is this guy, this is his story, this is what he wants to, these are the people he's trying to talk to, and this is what his music is doing right now. Then, if it's the C-suite officers that see it, if it's the local government chairman that sees it, if it's the head of that particular sustainability team in that company that sees it, they will give him another funding to scale what he has done.
Okay, so now we've got that one locked down. One more, if there is one more low-hanging fruit you can put out there for someone that wants to come into this music industry and make something out of it for themselves, what should be the next?
Leverage technology.
Technology.
Yeah, leverage technology.
Okay, now that's going to quickly bring us into Ckrowd.
Yeah.
And let's quickly talk about Ckrowd because I know we're time. Ckrowd. Let's quickly. Ckrowd is pushing. We're pushing into technology now, right?
Yeah.
So, what should people start looking out for? What should be the expectations people should have of Ckrowd very soon?
Yeah, first off, right? I can't code to save my life.
Yeah.
So I'm not a technical founder. we decided to start Ckrowd because we wanted to solve a problem for an industry.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be able to let that solution be ours, and for us to have control.
Yeah.
So the idea for us is that we playfully call Ckrowd now as the Andela for music industry professionals. And what is that? We are taking an old model that has worked, and we are taking it into a new industry, and eventually trying to deploy it for that industry to solve the problem for that industry.
That makes sense.
The biggest situation for us, as I said, is education. So Ckrowd intends to help professionalize music industry practitioners. We did a research one time, we looked at the pie chart. The biggest volume of that pie chart was music artists and vocalists. And every other place on that pie chart were professionals. So we just said, you know what, these music artists and vocalists, they are like newborn babies. Their energy and what you have to put into them is too much. But you know what? Let's go and tackle their nannies. Their nannies are all the other business providers or support providers for them.
Okay.
If these guys are well equipped, no matter how crazy this guy is, eventually we'll have problem solved. So what we want to do now, or what we are doing, is that we have built a system over a while, which we are licensing into Ckrowd now, where we are developing music industry professionals.
That makes sense.
And when we develop the professionals, we want to be able to say they have been fully professionalized at global level. And then the technology now works to be able to match them, these professionals, match them with demands.
So creating opportunities for
them. So that's where the monetization and opportunities come together. Where does this guy want to further his career as a music designer for that video game? Okay. Can we eventually run into a process where we can say, verifiable, this guy is a professional? Can we introduce him into a professional group of bigger industry professional group? And can we start to stand and be the one introducing him and standing and guarantor for him to introduce him to that people?
To that doorstep, like putting him in that place where the opportunity really does exist.
So is it about earning? Yes. Is it about further career development, like internships, like being able to have mentors and all that? That is what Ckrowd is designing. Education, monetization, and opportunities, which eventually will give a sort of structure to how the system supplies and delivers talent.
So guys, this has been powerful. I mean, Mr. Kayode has taken us through quite a lot of things, from the beginning of what the problems are, the opportunities that are underserved, underused, or like so many things out there that no one is even really seeing. Like we are not even seeing the bigger picture of how things are. And he has explained quite a lot of this. He has given a lot of examples. He has broken it down into ways in which anyone that listens, that follow through, would understand. But he's also introduced Ckrowd as a way in which he hopes to be able to, expand those opportunities, solve those challenges, and create more openings for a lot of people, not only in Nigeria, but all across the
global field. So let global demand interact with local supply. So
guys, that has been our conversation with Mr. Kayode, and it's been wonderful. It's been interesting. I've loved every part of it. It's been eye-opening. But there's one more thing I'm going to ask.
Sir.
There's this thing you're doing. This OG connects with something. I don't know what it is that you're connecting with, but 1 minute, can we just quickly talk about it? The OG thing.
Okay. There's this. For me, I believe that there's a way to give back to the next generation. I believe that there are a lot of them are under-advised, ill-advised, and probably very little mentorship is available for them, because the world has just become so fast all of a sudden, and there's that detachment. So it makes a lot of people look at the Gen Zs and say, only one way, or they don't know, they don't have patience, they don't have emotional intelligence, and all those kind of stuff. So This thing, we call it a ride. It's like a podcast, like a drive podcast. That is a drive. We call it the drive. We call it Kbayo, the drive with Kbayo and JB. So JB is a young friend of mine that is he's called Jefta. He's a basketball sensation. It's like one of the most talented basketballers I know.
That's wonderful.
And he's kind of like a guy within his guys, you know. So for me, I think we came together for that podcast where it's more like, we call it the bridge. So it's the bridge between the old G's and the Gen Z's. Where it's kind of like a feed. You're
trying to find that place where both, even though it's different times, there's what is the connection?
Like a connection where we can pour into each other.
Because I see it on my WhatsApp feed every time, and I'm always wondering, what is Mr. K doing in his car with this young lad, you know? So I just feel like I think we need to push
it started very playfully. Like I wanted to put the guy on, you know, they always feel that their music now is like the freshest song. I don't knock that at all. But you know, it started from me wanting to introduce him to the 90s music and the 2000 music, where you can listen to R. Kelly and know R. Kelly. So for me, it's very interesting that somebody does not know R. Kelly. But true, you can't. How a 19-year-old know R. Kelly?
I can imagine.
You know, and putting them on to that. Then, of course, it started entering into other kind of mentor discussions around business, around other stuff.
I mean, I find it to be something that is really cool, and I think it's something we should continue to do. And I don't know how you're going to scale it yet, but whichever way you figure out scaling it, I think it's going to be awesome, because that connection, I think there's a part of it that we need to sustain. So guys, you might be the next one in Mr. K's car explaining how your Gen Z path.
What is Reese?
What's Reese? So look out for that. And also I'll put links to Ckrowd, and hopefully we'll try to make sure that you guys are updated on Ckrowd's progress and how they make sure those opportunities are available for everyone. As I've said, we try to make sure we see those challenges, figure out the opportunities, and make those opportunities available to everyone. So stay tuned, guys. You know, thanks for watching the whole podcast, and you know, stay connected with us. Have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. Bye for now.